So today's class, we're gonna defuzz. So if you think about a spring morning where there's a little dew on the vegetation, and as the sun comes up, that dew just melts off the vegetation. It's lovely, right? We've all seen that. And pretty soon in Bellingham there, you're gonna find that to be true, right? That you're gonna see the dew melting off the vegetation. So we're gonna melt some of the fuzz this morning. And if you're practicing it at another time of the day, great. But let's start on your back. Have your props with you, handy beside you, and you can come to either your back or your front, your belly, and just connect first with your breath. And you might imagine if you're on your back, now you might imagine that you have just woken up. You've had a great night's sleep. You've just woken up, and you just like your kitty cat or your dog, or even if you don't own a pet, you've seen other animals pendiculating. So just invoke a yawn and just allow your body to move in any way that feels comfortable. You just have to stretch your arms over your head, or maybe arch your back, move over to one side. Just take a few rounds of opening from sort of the inside out, and then I'll guide. Great, then we'll bring the soles of the feet to the floor and have a little space between your feet, and then open your knees out to the side. And as you do that, arch your back away from the floor. Arms can be out just in a T shape. And on your exhale, bring your knees together and press your low back into the floor. And inhale, take your knees apart, arch away from the floor. So one of the best ways to work with the fascial network, of course, is to have movement across more areas of the body than not. So we'll add the arms. So the next time you bring your legs together, bring your forearms together, hands together right above your chest. And then inhale, open up, arch away from the floor. Exhale, round your back towards the floor, close legs, close arms. Okay. So take a few rounds here, just like this. Inhale, you bring your knees out wide, bring the arms down to your beside your head, arch away from the floor. Exhale, bring everything together. And then move your hands to the back of your head. So now elbows are wide, legs are wide. And on your exhale, as you bring your knees together, low back to the floor, elbows together, round yourself up. Bring your knees towards your elbows. So as you inhale, you'll drop your feet back to the floor, open up, open the elbows, open the knees, arch away from the floor. And on your exhale, kind of an old-fashioned crunchy as you round up. Bring elbows together, bring knees together. Okay, somewhere around 10 to 12 with your breath. Great, then the next time you have everything out wide, knees, elbows, relax, stretch your legs long, bring your arms alongside your body. Take one breath in Shavasana. And then bend your right knee, set the sole of your right foot to the floor. Reach your right arm behind you on the floor, pinky up towards the ceiling. And on your inhale, draw your right knee across your chest. You kind of roll onto your left hip, arch away from the floor, and stretch your right arm away. Pinky up towards the ceiling. And then relax that on your exhale and repeat that anywhere from 10 to 12 times. Working your underarm, the side waist, down through your hip, your right hip. Keep the inside edge of your right foot on the floor as you lift your toes towards your shins, and that'll help work the muscles of the feet of that right foot. So again, we're working the whole fascial network. Every muscle is encased in fascia, and there's fascia connecting muscles to other muscles. So we're moving the whole package, the fascial unit, when we strengthen, lengthen, stretch, whatever you want. The terminology is for this kind of movement that we're doing. Good. Come to the other side now. Right leg long, left knee bent, left arm alongside you, by your head, behind you on the floor. Pinky up towards the ceiling, and inhale. Draw your left knee across your body as you lift your left hip off the floor, arch away from the back, from the floor, arch your back away from the floor, and then you relax back down. 10 to 12 here. See if you can make your inhale and exhale the same length, so that you're not just in your sympathetic nervous system, but you actually have a nice balance of energizing and staying relaxed. Then next time you come back to the starting position, both legs long, just one breath in Shavasana, let your feet fall out, let your body just relax. Great. Then you can roll to your left side, and you can have your left arm extended so that you can rest your head on your arm, or if that's not comfortable, you could put a block there. I don't find the block super comfortable underneath my head. Pillow would work as well. And then your knees are stacked. Right arm just resting on the floor in front of you. And you'll slide your right knee away as you slide your right arm along the floor, and then slide back. So sliding the right knee forward, knees are stacked, and the right arm just slides on the floor. And just do a few rounds just like that, sliding. Sliding the right knee forward of the left as they are stacked, and sliding your right hand along the floor. So and as you come back to the starting position, you could even take this into a little bit of a twist by sliding your right hand across your chest, then come back, slide forward, slide your right hand along your chest, bringing your right shoulder towards the floor. Thinking about defuzzing here. And then coming back to the starting position, we go to the other side. So right arm is outstretched, knees are stacked, left hand out in front of you. Slide the left foot forward, sliding the left hand along the floor and come back. And you might note a difference on one side or the other. Again, see if you can keep the breath even. So inhale and exhale the same length. You can begin to open up a little bit more each time you slide back with your left hand coming across your chest, left shoulder towards the floor, and then sliding everything away. Good. And after a couple more, we'll come back to the first side. Here's where you can use your TheraBand. If you have it, bring your TheraBand right above your knees, resting on your outstretched left arm. You're on your left side, stacking your knees and lining up the soles of your feet with your sacrum. So the knees aren't out in front of you, but they're back a bit. Soles of your feet or your heels are lined up with your sacrum. And then you can take your right arm and drape it along your right ear. So we'll sweep the right arm open and turn the palm back towards the back of the room. You could even sweep your arm back and then turning your palm up towards the ceiling, bring your right hand back to the starting position. Right, so you'll come up, turn your palm towards the back of the behind you. Right, so the arm is going from internal to external rotation back and forth with that. Right. Good. And then the next time you sweep the arm up, keep the feet together, but lift your right knee away from your left knee, clamshell. And then you're going to go coordinate those two movements. So as you sweep your arm behind you, lift your top knee against the TheraBand if you have one, and repeat. You don't have to have the TheraBand to do this, but just provide some nice resistance, working in the right hip, coordinating the two movements. Good. Let's do two more. Great. And then roll over to your other side. So right arm is stretched out, resting on your right side now. Line up your soles of your feet with your sacrum. Left arm, you can just begin the whole sequence with the left arm if you want. So sweeping palm up and then turning your palm to the space behind you and then sweeping your hand back in place. I gotta move a little bit here. All right, so internal, external rotation with the left arm. And then when you're ready, you add, as you sweep the arm up, you open the top leg away from the bottom leg. And let's go anywhere from 12 to 20 rounds here, matching your breath with your movement. Maybe noticing this side might be different. Sure is for me. And the next time you come back to the starting position, go ahead and just come onto your back. Keep the TheraBand where it is. If you have a TheraBand, come into a position of comfort, knees bent, soles of your feet to the floor. Arms, just have your arms out to the sides like little wings, right? And then press into your feet, lift your hips. You can press out against the TheraBand and then roll down back to the starting position. Inhale to press into your feet, lift your hips, and exhale to roll out. We'll just start with the action of the legs and then we'll add the arms. So you can press out against the TheraBand. You can try the TheraBand also against the down at your ankles. I'm finding mine's not quite enough resistance to really add any difference to my bridge here, but you could have if you have a set and you have a one that's got more resistance, you could try that one. Then add the arms. So as you press into your hips, let your arms come behind. And then as you come back down, sweep arms back to your side and roll yourself down to the starting position. Again, make sure the inhale and the exhale are the same length. And see if you can have them even be the same sort of volume. If there was a way to sort of describe the volume of a breath. So you may find that you're somebody who does a really big inhale and then a quick exhale, right? You're ready for that next inhale. So see if you can even things out. Cascading bridge. Working in the spine, defuzzing, hips, shoulders. Good. The next time you come down, wait for us there. We'll go one arm at a time and work a little fuzz in the neck. So as you press into your feet, draw your pubic bone away from your navel, lift your hips on the inhale, right arm comes back, turn your head to the left. And then bring the hips back down, arm back down, head to center. Same thing, other side. So inhale, sweep the left arm behind you, turn your head to the right. And then you bring everything back down to the starting position. Okay, so going back and forth, one arm at a time, turning your head in the opposite direction. So working a little bit in the neck. Well, let's do 6 on each side or thereabouts. Once you have your even number on each side, come just to resting with the knees together. Take one resting breath here. Great. Then if you have that TheraBand, you can take it down to your ankles, roll over onto your belly. Again, if you don't have the TheraBand, it's fine. But roll onto your belly, tops of your feet to the floor, resting on your little hand pillow, forehead on the hand pillow. And then break the strap apart, break the TheraBand apart with your ankles. So you'll feel your buttocks, right? You'll feel the engagement there. So keep that pressure against the strap, tops of your feet to the floor, and inhale, just press up into a baby back bend, and exhale, come back down. And if you don't have the TheraBand, just press the tops of your feet into the floor, take them wide, to the corners of your mat. And let's do 10 to 12 here. Good. After your last one, bring your hands to your low ribs. Press the tops of your feet into the floor and press up into cobra. Any height is fine. And hold. Bring your elbows in towards your sides. Draw your hands back isometrically. And lower yourself down to the floor. Wiggle that TheraBand off your ankles. Have your blocks handy. And then with your hands beside your low ribs again, press yourself up through table. Turn your toes under. Turn your toes under and set your hips back on your heels. Now, this is the fascia on the soles of the feet, plantar fascia. If you've ever had plantar fasciitis. If it's pretty hard to come back on the heels, you can just pitch yourself forward slightly or put a blanket, rolled up blanket or towel or pillow between your calves and your hamstrings. Stick with this for a few rounds of breath here. Good, then bring your hands forward. So you're in table again. You can take the tops of your feet and kind of release some of that tension. And cat-cow. Now add some movement to your cat-cow, some variation to your cat-cow by taking your side waist out beyond the long edge of your mat. As you come into one side, half of the breath, and then out the other side. So you're coming around with your cat-cow as you breathe in and arch the back, and you keep coming around, making a circular motion through your whole body, and then reverse that. So this inhale might bring you right, and the exhale left, or in my case, I'm going counterclockwise now. So make sure you go in both directions and then come back to center. Take your hips back towards your heels in a child's pose. And then on your next inhale, sweep your arms up, stand up on your knees, bring your hands together overhead. Interlace your fingers, reach your index fingers towards the ceiling like you're making a steeple. And then exhale, release your arms down to your sides. Bring your right foot forward. Bring your hands to your thigh. And just take a few low lunges here to start. And then we'll add the arms. So as you come into the low lunge, sweep your arms up. Press firmly into the front foot to come back. Let your arms sweep down to the side. So inhale, sweep the arms up. And on the exhale, press into your front foot and exhale through the top of your head. Let your arms float down to your sides. Okay, take a few rounds here. Inhale, exhale, same length if possible. And then the next time you're back into the starting position, or what I call proposal pose, take your left foot, so the right foot is forward, knee bent, sole of the foot on the floor. Take your left foot and angle it so it's pointing towards the back right corner of your mat. Okay, and then take your right hand to the outside of your right knee and press those two together. Engage your left buttocks. Inhale your left arm up and then come into a little side bend here. We're going to hold this for 3 rounds of breath. So when we do that isometric work, right, or I ask you to engage your buttocks, we're not gripping, we're engaging. So see if you can feel the difference between gripping and engaging here. Soften your shoulder tops. Then come back up, release your pressure on your hand, bring both knees back. Bring your hands down to the mat and take a few rounds of cat-cow. This gives me an opportunity to move my blanket. If you had your blanket covering your mat, or you want to use your blanket solely for your knees. Great. Then we'll go to the other side. So left foot forward and your hands to your knee to start. Just coming into a low lunge, pressing back up. And then we add the arms. So the next time you go into the low lunge, sweep the arms up. And then press into your foot. On your exhale, feel like you're exhaling through the crown of your head to come back to the starting position. Take somewhere between 8 and 10 rounds here. And the next time you come back to the starting position, angle your right foot. So you kind of turn your leg in and you angle your foot towards the left corner of your mat. Left hand comes to the outside of your left leg. You do a little isometric work there, pressing leg into hand, hand into leg. And then right arm up. You're going to come into a side bend. Gather, engage your right buttocks. And come into this stretch for the TFL. It's your fascia lata. Okay, so really holding this effort here, but not gripping. Good work, everyone. And come back to the starting position, both knees down. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, tuck your hands to your low back and come down into a child's pose variation. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Take a little stroll in your downward dog. Pressing one heel towards the floor, then the other. And if you've got a blanket there for your knees, you can move that off to the side. And then walk your feet up towards your hands. Deep bend in the knees, come into a chair shape. And then press up to standing on your exhale. On your exhale. Good. So now Tadasana. Recalibrate. Okay. And then from your Tadasana, just take a soft Utkatasana. So bending the knees slightly, bring arms out in front. Okay. Good. We'll step the left foot back, big step back, and come into Exalted Warrior. And then inhale, sweep forward, come back to chair pose. Take the right foot back, open up, Exalted Warrior. Inhale, come back. Exhale, step the left foot back, and Exalted Warrior. Inhale, sweep forward, step forward, going back and forth from side to side. Chair pose, stepping back, exalted warrior. Stepping forward, chair pose, stepping back, exalted warrior. Okay, moving back and forth here. And just really, we're working on defuzzing, so it's not crucial that you sit low in your chair. We're just trying to get some full body movement here. Okay, as you go back and forth. And then once you've done an even number and you step back to the front of your mat, find Tadasana. Very good. Okay. Then slight bend in the knees. Come back to Utkatasana. Step the left foot back. Open up, exalted warrior. And then straighten the front leg. You've got your right arm up in the air. Reach the side ribs forward as you sweep down, finding Trikonasana. Just your hand on your shin or your thigh, left hand on your hip. All right? And then slide your fingers to your shoulder, left fingers to your left shoulder. Then reach your left arm up, which will slide your hand up. Your hand will slide up. You won't stay in that deep Trikonasana. Good. And then bend through the front knee, find warrior two. And then inhale, bring hands together above your head, straighten your front leg, and exhale, warrior two. Then inhale, then exhale. And inhale, bring the arms over your head together, and exhale, bend through your front knee, find warrior two. Right? That's the little vinyasa. Good. Then next time you're in warrior two, turn your back toes, sweep your arms up, crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Bend or hinge at the waist and come into a prayerful warrior. You could turn that back foot down, interlace your hands at your sacrum, or make a reverse prayer, hands at your sacrum. Front knee bent as any amount as possible. Hands at the waist, it could be hands at the waist. And we'll take one more full breath here. Good, release your hands down around your front foot and sweep that foot back, downward facing dog. In your downward dog, take some cat-cow movements. See if you can get that the low back, the mid back to do the cat-cow movement here. Good. Walk your feet up towards your hands, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale here, feel your belly expand against your thighs, and exhale, stand up. All the way through the crown of your head on the exhale. Good. Okay. We'll find the other side. Do the other side. So here we go. Take your right foot back. Let's just find exalted warrior. Great. And then straightening the front leg, reach the side ribs forward and fall into Trikonasana. Just lean into Trikonasana. Good. Now reach your right arm up and reach your right arm. Keep trying to reach for the ceiling like you're trying to reach, and your hand will probably slide up a couple of inches. There's your Trikonasana. Good. Then bend through your front knee, find warrior two. You might have to open up your stance a bit. And then inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, find warrior two. Go back and forth with that movement. Inhale and exhale, same length. Next time you land in warrior two, spin your upper body towards the front foot, turn your back toes, turn your back foot, landing, having your back heel up and land in crescent lunge. Find your stability first. Good, and then we come into humble warrior, so hands to the back of your sacrum. You're gonna fold in towards your front leg. You could take that back heel down so it's more like a warrior one stance and come into humble warrior. Front knee bent as possible, and you're inside of that front leg. You're inside, you're bowing inside that front leg. Great, then release your hands down around your front foot and sweep that foot back, find downward facing dog. Take a few rounds of the cat-cow in your downward dog. See if you can get your hips, your pelvis to tilt and maybe even follow through into your spine in your downward dog. Then walk your feet up towards your hands. Set your hips back, bring your hands forward, Utkatasana. Inhale here, exhale, press up to standing. Tadasana, few rounds of breath in your Tadasana. Recalibrate. Good. Then we'll take a wide stance, a little bit, about as wide as your shoulders. Okay, and let's just take the arms and the hips, and we'll take the arms and cross the arms in front, alternating which arm comes in front, and then just take your hips side to side. Good. Now, rotate through your hips, circle your hips, and then take eagle arms, one arm on top of the other, like the eagle pose. Right? You could bind up as well, and then change the cross of your arms and change the rotation. Great. Now come back to this open swing, and now we're going to go side to side. So you're going to bring your hands to one side and bend through that knee and lift the opposite heel, and then go back and forth like you're skating. And you could change the plane of your arms. You could go a little lower, a little higher. Just feel into it. Good. And heel toe the feet together. Bounce the heels. Bounce the heels. Let this go all through your body. Bounce your hands, wrists, arms. Shake, bounce, shake, bounce, shake, bounce. Good. And feet back to hip distance apart. Interlace your hands behind your head. Take your inhale here. Exhale, press through your hands. Your palms press away, your hips go in the opposite direction, and your gaze goes to the bicep. I'm going to the right, so I'm looking at my left bicep. Then you come back to center, press away, hips opposite the direction of the hands, and gaze opposite the direction of the hands. And go back and forth a few times here. Good, and then when you've done an even number, let your arms move forward and backwards. You can coordinate this with your feet if you want, lifting the heels as you come forward with the hands. And then feet really wide. Here you might want your block. Take your hands to your hips, draw your tailbone down slightly, turn the heels out so that they're a little bit wider than, so the toes are in slightly and the heels are out slightly, and then fold. Now, you can have your block here. You come right to the center first with the fold, engage your legs, squeeze the feet isometrically towards one another. And then push the feet away from one another. And feel how there's a different action in the legs. There's different movement in the legs when you squeeze the feet together and when you draw the feet apart. Bend through your right knee, walk your hands over to the right. You can have a block here for your left hand. Okay, and left hand on the block or left hand on the floor, right hand on your hip, straighten through your right leg and twist. You can stack your shoulders here if it feels okay. Release. Walk your hands over to the left, bend your left leg. Have a right hand on the block, right in front of your foot, left hand on your hip, and straighten through your left leg to come into the twist, stacking your shoulders if that feels okay. Nursing a pretty long-term injury in my left shoulder. So trying to keep it moving, but not really exacerbate whatever I've done there. But that's part of what I was referring to in the newsletters, that when we get hurt, we tend to avoid moving that area. Come back to center, and now keep the big wide stance. If you have the ability to bring your head either to the floor or to a block, bring your head down for a little inversion. You could stack some blocks here. Feel that you're zipping up the back of the leg. So drawing up from the heel to the sit bones. And you're zipping up the front of the legs. So the kneecaps are lifted. You've got engagement in the front of the legs and the back of the legs. Great. Then you can take your head off the block, set that aside, heel toe the feet in slightly. So resting your forearms on your thighs, like a sumo wrestler. And we'll go for a couple rounds here, just straightening the legs on the inhale and exhale, sitting down into the squat. And you can keep your forearms on your thighs, or you could take your hands into prayer. Next time you're in the squat, if you don't have your forearms on your thighs, go ahead and put your forearms on your thighs, rest there, and then press up to standing. Heel toe the feet in a little bit. We'll do one quick balancing movement here. So weight into the left foot. With your right foot, you're just gonna dance around your space. You can have your toes touching, or you could try having the foot in the air as you dance around your space. Wherever you are, keep your breath. And then you're gonna sweep the right foot behind the left foot. So the pinky toe sides of your feet are lined up. Find this balance first, and then any amount of a forward fold. You could have your block, you could get your blocks here for this forward fold. It feels like a lot. And your forward fold might be right here. It's wherever you are is fine. Okay. And then unwind. Bounce the heels, shake it out. Maybe some ninja feet. Right? And then weight goes into the right foot. Again, dance your left foot around, either touching the toes or having the foot in free space, working your balance, or a combination of both. You see about opening the circle a little bit bigger. And then bring your left foot behind your right foot. Pinky toe side edges are touching. Find your balance here. Squeeze the legs together. And then folding. Any amount. Really pull up the back of your legs. So zip up from your heel up to your sit bones. Engage the front of the legs. Coming out of the fold, coming out of the cross, and bounce your heels. Good, so let's look at this really graceful way we've been working to get to the floor. So we're standing. We can inhale, reach the arms up, bend through the knees and come into a fold, hands out in front of you, kind of like a short downward dog. And then you just walk your hands back towards your feet. Tuck one foot under. So you're going to tuck one shin under. You come into the half squat and come to a seat. Great. Reach legs out in front. Dandasana. Sitting up nice and tall here. Now gather the back of the legs. So as you press into your heels, you're going to isometrically pull the heels back towards the hips. Engage the front of the legs. Just take a few rounds of breath here. Great. Now, bend through your right knee and bring your right foot as close to your right sit bone as possible. Right? So it's kind of like a half squat. Like if you could lift your left leg, you could even try that. Put your hands beside your hips and just lift yourself up off the floor. Left leg is straight. Right? Okay. Bring your right hand behind you. Take your left arm around your right leg and come into this twist. Marichasana variation. Hips are level, pelvis is level, so you're not leaning way over to the left side if possible. Good. Keep with this, just one more round of breath here. Good. Then as you unfold, you're going to tuck your left foot in, right leg on top. As square as possible. I'll turn this way for visual. As square as possible, but if you need to tuck both feet in a little bit, okay, tuck in towards your groin. And then this might be where you stay. you might be able to bring your hands out in front and come into a little bit of a fold. You'll feel this in your right outer hip, buttocks. Be kind. Anywhere you are is perfect. Perfect. Now, can you bring your feet back, your toes back towards your shins here? So you're opening up through your toes. Bring your toes back towards your shins. Opening the bottoms of your feet. Cool. Walk your hands back. Unwind. Come back to Dandasana. Hands, generally speaking, for most of us, hands behind the hips. We'll keep a nice length in our back. Squeeze muscle to bone here. Heels into the floor. Isometrically draw your heels back. Okay. Great. Then it's left foot in, as close to your hips as possible. Left hand comes behind you. Right arm around that leg. There's the twist. Lifting up through the collarbones. Each exhale, you might think about lifting through, right through the crown of your head. One more full breath here. And then as you come back to center, you'll slide the right foot in towards your groin. Left leg goes on top now. Left leg on top. Any amount of trying to get the leg square. If you have to bring the bottom foot, top foot in, or you could take a block underneath the top knee. So we don't want pain. We just want to really be able to have some sensation, and we're working this outer left hip now. So any amount of forward fold that you can get out of this. And notice if this side feels a little different. Tuck your chin in and kind of round through your back now that you're in the fold. Release any tension in your face. Walk the hands back. Last time, release the legs out. Dandasana. Then bending your knees, sliding feet towards butt towards feet. Roll down softly onto your back. Take your right leg across your left. Squeeze the thighs together here, arms out to the side. Bring your knees over to the right. Big twist. Now, you can take your left arm, press the back of your left hand into the floor. Press the back of your left hand into the floor. And it might feel okay for you to take your gaze over to your left hand. If not, just stare straight up at the ceiling. If the twist is too deep, or just you feel any pain in your back, just release the top leg and just stack the knees. Nice stretch along the left side in the psoas and along the armpit if you're pressing that left hand into the floor. Good. Then come back up to center. Before we go to the other side, just take a few pelvic tilts. Just neutralize before we go and get asymmetrical in the other direction. Okay. And then it's left leg on top of right. Squeeze the legs together. Legs go over, knees go over to the left. Reaching your arms out to a T, maybe pressing the back of your right hand into the floor. and maybe taking your gaze over to the right hand or just staring up at the ceiling. And, you know, for me, when I come to this side, it feels completely different. So, um, I don't know, that's just my body's signature, asymmetrical signature. Paying attention to that, though, is a part of our practice, right? Becoming more discretionary, informed about our own bodies. We're going to inhale to come back up. Again, a couple rounds of cat-cow movement or pelvic tilting through on your back here. We're gonna finish with just a little bit of a fish variation. So I'll give you a couple of choices. You can bring your hands. You can bring your hands underneath your buttocks, so palms down, and then you sort of tuck your elbows in underneath you, and take the top of your head to the floor. So you can see I've got this back bend. Now I could keep my knees bent here, or I could straighten my legs. And my couch is in the way. I point my toes. Right, so this is one variation. Okay, this is one variation of fish. You could also take your two blocks. One block goes on its lowest setting at the bottom tip of your scapula, shoulder blades, and the other block goes on either the middle setting or the highest setting, right underneath your head. And legs, knees could be bent. This is a very supportive fish pose. Knees could be bent or legs could be extended with toes pointed. I think I'll just scoot myself around so I can visually show you that. Got more room on this other side. So again, the block one, line up with the bottom tip of your shoulder blades. Block two, either middle setting or high setting, and then you can take your legs long here. And this is a really, I feel like this is a very nice supportive fish version. So really opening up some of the stickiness, the fuzz in the rib basket. And when you've had enough of this, you can go into your favorite finish, Shavasana. So right down to the floor, on your back, or block underneath the sacrum. You come into a supported bridge for the finish, supported shoulder stand. Legs up the wall, legs on a piece of furniture. Your decision as you finish up. Doing a quick scan to see if there's any place where you're holding tension. And letting that tension go. Noticing if you're holding any tension in your face. Letting that tension go. Softening around your eyes. Around your mouth. Releasing any tension in your jaw. Softening your inner ear. Really soften the inner ear for generous listening. Giving yourself this gift of stillness before you step into the rest of your day.